Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Royal Watcher podcast. My name is Saad Salman. I'm the founder and editor of the Royal Watcher, a royal commentator, and a royal contributor for all.com.
And my name is Gillespie. I am the editor of the Beau Monde. I have a background in fine jewellery and a long-held fascination with history and royalty.
Wonderful. So this week has been such a delight for us Royal Watchers because we've won lots of tiaras and lots of state banquets.
Yes, I thought my fingers were going to fall off the other night from being on social media trying to keep up with all the beautiful jewellery that was on show.
I know, it was quite lovely, and it started early on the 22nd when we saw Queen Camilla and the new Princess of Wales wearing two rather lovely brooches for the welcome for the South African president.
Yes, and the brooch that Kate was wearing is what is known as the Prince of Wales feathered brooch. Actually caused quite a stir when we all saw it. That brooch was originally given to Queen Alexandra in 1863 on her marriage to King Edward VII. That jewel has in fact been synonymous with the princesses of Wales ever since. Diana wore it quite frequently as a necklace. Camilla too did wear the brooch, but however that caused some controversy because obviously trying to be respectful to the memory of Diana, she was never called the Princess of Wales, but she did wear that brooch as the wife of the Prince of Wales. So it was lovely to see Kate wearing it. It's definitely it's an indicator that she wants to move forward with her new position, and she also wants to honor the past.
I know, it was a lovely sign of her new position and how she's really transitioning into this new role. And in a way, it was something different because we don't necessarily see Kate in a lot of brooches anyway. But this was special. And as you said, that it's been one of those pieces that the palace has said that they've reserved for the wife, the Prince of Wales. And I think my comments on Instagram were not too happy about the brooch having been worn by Queen Camilla in the past. But it seems that there are quite delighted that's being worn by the Princess of Wales now.
Yeah, but I mean, I think as we go on, I'm a fan of Camilla. Those voices will hopefully eventually die down.
I know. And speaking of Queen Camilla, she herself looked lovely, and she was wearing a new to me at least brooch, which has I believe we agreed it was a star sapphire set in a rather Art Deco kind of 1920s or 30s like clip style.
Yes, wonderful piece. Like we say, we weren't sure what the stone was, but just given the intricacy of the piece and the fact that it's with diamonds, it's more than likely going to be a star-shaped sapphire, which is a beautiful stone, and it really complements the overall look.
Oh yeah, she looked lovely. She was wearing her everyday pearls, and at the same time, the Prince of Wales was also wearing a pair of pearl earrings called the Collingwood pearl earrings, which were a wedding gift to Princess Diana. So she was really going for that Diana nods in her look, as well as kind of jewels associated with the role of Princess of Wales.
Yes, and I do love that she's wearing the pillbox hat and the coat dress. I think that's going to be it is a trademark. So yeah,
I know, and I mean it does suit her so well. I think she's been wearing this type of coat dress for a lot of occasions recently. She wore a similar type for the Trooping of Color and then the Queen's funeral and now this. So I think this is her most go-to silhouette for important events these days. And then that evening promised even more kind of glitter for us when Queen Camilla debuted a new tiara for her, which was the Queen's Belgian sapphire or the modern sapphire tiara, which was originally a necklace for the Belgian Princess Louise, who was estranged from her family. She kind of left her husband, so she was a bit of a scandalous figure at the time. And her jewels were sold initially in the early 1900s and then later in the 1960s when the Queen bought the necklace and turned into a tiara.
Yes, because I think she received that so the necklace that Queen Camilla is wearing is actually part of a present from George VI to Queen Elizabeth. Was it for her birthday or for her wedding?
For her wedding. And it was originally a longer piece, and we can see Queen Camilla wearing the bracelet, which is what became of the rest of the sapphires when the Queen had it turned. Yeah. I think it is a bit too short for Queen Camilla's neck, I looked at all of the Queen's necklaces, and as someone who's seen quite a lot, I found them all, the stones are huge, but the size of the necklaces were really small. So I think a couple more diamonds or maybe an element should be added to kind of suit more bigger variety of necks.
Yes, and the earrings are interesting because they're not part of the original set, are they?
Yes, and that's because Queen Camilla does not have her ears pierced. So these are
Oh,
clip-on earrings.
I did not know that. There we go. There's
Yeah.
a fun
And
royal
an
fact.
interview for her 70th birthday where during, I think it was for Vogue or for Country Life, one of which, and she wore this Bruce Oldfield gown for that interview as well. She revealed that she does not have her ears pierced, no matter how many times her granddaughters tell her to, and she has no plans of doing it either. So it'll be interesting how she wears kind of the rest of the heirloom earrings of the royal family, which, I mean,
Yeah.
that part of her ears is usually covered by her hair, but it'll be interesting, like the coronation earrings and that sort of thing. Like, how are those worn?
Those, I mean, it could be a case that she has them all, they're all converted into clip-ons, but they would have to be like, they'd have to be
Massive.
not even massive. The weight of those, I'm just thinking about the coronation stones now, just in my mind. Those
Oh yeah,
stones are
they're huge.
enormous and they're heavy. And there's the reason they have the fittings, for anyone who wants to know, that's what we call the back of the earring. So it would have the stem, which is the piece of metal that goes through the ear, and then the backings would have to be, oh my god, yeah, she could have them converted into clip-ons, but they would have to
Pretty
be
sturdy.
so sturdy that they would cut off circulation to her ear.
Oh, definitely. Or I think she could have them, like my mom has some massive earrings, part of like her wedding jewelry, and they have like a couple of ropes of like I believe she has a garnet per where there's like ropes of beaded garnets which like go from the earrings so they can be fixed to the hair, and if she doesn't want to add them directly to her ears. So it's like to give it extra support in that sense.
Yeah, so that
So
would
it
be.
might be something similar, which it could be tucked inside the hair and no one would notice.
Right, well, there we go. That's something to look at going forward.
Yeah, and we also saw her wearing the sash of the Order of the Garter, and I believe it's announced that she's wearing Queen Victoria's Garter Star.
That would be your department. I don't know. Would
Yes.
you say so?
And also one of the new the kind of things we found out that there has been no new royal family order for the king yet. So the ladies were all just still wearing the royal family order of Queen Elizabeth II. And talking about the king, I think a couple of people have noticed that he was wearing emerald studs on his white tie.
I know, they look fantastic, don't they? That really gives us a good indicator that I think more and more royal jewels are going to be coming out of the woodwork in this reign.
Oh yeah, and you can also see the king. I believe has two stars. He has the Order of the Garter star, and he has the Star of the Order of the Bath, which is the order that was also given to the South African president. But both of the king stars are made in diamonds, so he
Ooh.
has been adding a lot more kind of glitter than you normally expect from royal men.
Yes, well, this is going to be such fun to see.
Yeah. And at the same time, kind of the next leading lady at the banquet was the Princess of Wales, who was wearing kind of what has been her iconic tiara for the past couple of years, the Queen Mary's Lover's Knot tiara,
Yeah,
paired with, yeah. So it's been, I think there was lots of hope before the banquet that she would wear a new tiara or kind of debut something more interesting, or maybe wear one of the older ones that she's already worn, but she stuck to her tried and trusted favorite.
yeah, I was one of the ones that was hoping for something new, but but even though I was disappointed, you can't lie that this is suits Kate down to the ground, suits her look, goes with the earrings, goes with the new brooch and the bracelet. So I
Yeah, it
concede
goes quite
defeat.
well. And also, if you think about it, it is quite a big, like, substantial tiara in itself. So there aren't many like other ones that she could have chosen, which would have been like of a more like bigger size or importance. Like it's pretty important in itself.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, like, I suppose the only thing that would be bigger would be Queen Alexandra's Kokoshnik tiara, but then I don't think that would have been suitable for a Princess of Wales. That's more of a Queen's
Especially
tiara.
for like the first state banquet and for a president and all that sort of thing. So
Yeah,
before a coronation, like there's all sorts of elements that she was probably thinking about. And then
yeah.
with the tiara, she was wearing Princess Diana's what I termed her South Sea pearl earrings, but Kate has replaced one of the big South Sea pearls with a smaller pearl, which
Yeah,
is I'm think it's like varied levels of success. I kind of think it doesn't really balance itself out that way, but they've
yeah,
been favorites for the past few weeks.
yeah, I know. And they're not my the thing with those earrings, they are very ostentatious. They are very evening wear earrings to me. They're very elaborate. And Kate's
Yes,
been wearing them during the daytime, and it doesn't work in the daytime. But for this
I
occasion,
agree.
it does work.
It does
So
work. I think in the daytime, because Diana used to wear them without the pearl pendant. And if you can look in, for those of us watching on YouTube, you can see that there's a clip holding the pearl on to the diamond element. And so she could just wear the diamond element by itself. And it seemed like it'd be easily taken off.
yeah, but yeah, as I say, those earrings they're better for the evening. They're better for these sort of events. But yeah, Kate
Yes.
has been wearing them out and about, and it's just like no.
Especially because she wore these earrings for the first time for Remembrance Sunday, which was probably not the most suitable event.
No, no. And did she were these the ones she wore to the funeral, the Queen's funeral, or was they the Collingwoods? I can't remember.
No, to the Queen's funeral, she wore the Bahrain pearl earrings, and she wore
Ah,
these
yeah.
to the heads of state reception the night before, which made
Ah,
sense because people were pretty dressed up for that. I think Queen Camilla was wearing her big Van Cleef and Arpels snowflake earrings,
ah, gotcha.
so it makes
Lovely.
sense. And then what Kate was also wearing her new Art Deco brooch, which some say is a gift from King Charles for her 40th birthday. And my friends at UFO No More identified the piece as having been sold in January, so at Bentley and Skinner. So it's quite
Hmm.
a recent purchase for her.
Which is strange because you'd think they'd have drawers of brooches in the royal vaults that she could have picked as could have had a present from. I wonder why they
Yeah.
went to buy a new piece.
Which, I mean, if you think about it, back in January, the king was still Prince of Wales.
Ah,
The
yes, you're
queen
right.
still had access to the royal vault.
Yeah.
And if he wanted to give her a personal piece, maybe this was like it's for me, it's a bit too small for like a banquet occasion. Like
Mm, yeah, it does
there's
get very lost, but then again,
it's a
that
bit like
dress
the
is.
sort of thing you wore on the back of your sash to hold it in place.
Mm,
And I could see like Princess Charlotte wearing it at some point in the future. Like I don't really think it's like totally meant for Kate for to wear like till the end in that sense.
yeah, it's probably going to be like just a minor piece going forward.
Yeah. And passed on to her children and her daughter-in-laws and
Yeah,
so forth, so on.
yeah, like
But
more
yeah,
of
no,
a personal jewel.
yeah. And then I think, but Jules aside, I think the highlight was the Duchess's Jenny Packham cape dress.
Oh yes, definitely. She definitely got it right that on that dress.
Yes, and some people were criticizing her for wearing all those ribbons on it, but I mean, those are important royal orders that she received from the late Queen, the Royal Victorian Order and her Royal Family Order, and they really represent kind of her role as the Princess of Wales, and she couldn't really just wear the dress like it was black tie celebrity event.
Yeah, it's a state visit. She has to wear them. That's what they're
Of
for.
course. Yeah. So I found that criticism quite bizarre at times.
Yeah,
So,
but that's probably
but
from people who don't really understand the significance of those royal orders and what they actually mean, like historically and traditionally.
definitely, yeah. And moving on to other members of the royal family, we didn't necessarily have a huge attendance like we did in the past. I think they have really limited this to working royals only rather than just kind of extended member. In the past we used to have Prince and Princess Michael of Kent and various other members of the family, whereas now it's really limited to the core seven working royal members.
Yeah, so I think the reason Princess Anne wasn't there was because she was in the Falklands
Yes.
commemorating. And also I think Princess Alexandra's I mean she might she's getting on, but also I think she's not very well.
Yes, and I'm doubt that wearing a tiara and gown and all those things and then walking like all through the palaces would probably not be her idea of night out.
No.
So that's I think the last one she attended was in 2019,
Yeah.
and that's probably going to be a nice swan song for her.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But yeah, back to Sophie, Countess of Wessex, wearing her Wessex aquamarine tiara, which is a new piece. Which when did we when did we say that she might have bought it? Like for the wedding
I
or?
believe it was first seen in 2005 for the inauguration gala for Prince Albert of Monaco.
Oh.
And it can also be worn as a necklace. Some people call it the Wessex aquamarine necklace tiara because she has worn another aquamarine tiara as well. And with the tiara, she was wearing two pieces from the collection of her late mother-in-law.
Yes, and I asked you if it was the King Faisal necklace, and you told me it was something different.
Yes, it is most likely Saudi as well, as are the earrings, but for both of them, there's no kind of recorded provenance. So lots of Saudi kings have given the queen a lot of jewels over the years, and this is one of them that has appeared for Saudi visits, and she wore them quite often in the 2000s. I think the earrings were worn by the Countess of Wessex before, as has have they been worn by the then Duchess of Cambridge for the last diplomatic reception, whereas the necklace was often just worn by the Queen, and now it's worn by the Countess of Wessex.
Oh, well, I must say she does look lovely here. It's very sort of simple and understated, but still very regal.
Oh yeah, I think her look I felt was the most put together and quite balanced out, and I thought she looked absolutely amazing.
Mm. And she's also wearing the family order and the sash, isn't she?
Yes, of the Royal Victorian Order, which was one of the honors she got from the late Queen after years of service to the royal family and the monarchy.
And she was pictured with Prince Edward, who is also wearing his Garter stars.
Yes, his Garter Star and his Royal Victorian Order Star, which was the first order he received when he's kind of started royal duties back in the day.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to brush up on these stats because I'm just like, oh, pretty. What does it mean?
Yeah. So the Garter one actually, a bit of an interesting side note, brief. I'll try to keep it brief. But Princess Anne was the first lady of the Garter that received it in like since Henry VII's mother, like good 600 years, and she got it in 1994.
Mm.
So, and she got it then, and then Edward and Andrew both got the Garter in 2006.
Well, yeah, that's very interesting.
So before them that they both only had the Royal Victorian Order, which now we think of like the core members of the royal family, like the Queen's children all have the Garter and all of that, but it wasn't always the case. And it was quite a bit of a new thing that okay, princess would like a prince would get a Garter automatically. No, they kind of have to work for it.
That seems fair to me.
Because it is the highest royal order that they can
Mm.
get. And similarly, we had the Duchess of Gloucester, who unfortunately was not able to get a get picture of, but she was also wearing the Royal Victorian Order and the Royal Family Order, but her jewels, I think, were the grandest of the night.
Yes, the Gloucesters are the one of the minor branches of the British royal families who's actually managed to maintain the jewelry collection, unlike the Kents who have had to sell a lot of it off. But yeah, her tiara dates all the way back to the reign of Queen Victoria. It actually belonged to one of her granddaughters. Was it Princess
Yes.
Marie Louise of
Yes, so this Princess Marie
Anhalt?
Louise's tiara. The tiara does not date back to the Victorian era. I believe it was created around the 1937 coronation.
Oh yes, of course, with the
And it's
Cartier tiara
called
boom.
it's the Cartier India tiara, which is, I think, one of their most spectacular pieces. It was on display at the Cartier exhibition in Paris earlier this year. And
Mm.
I thought it was going to be on display in when the exhibition was moved to Dallas as well. And I booked a ticket, went to the exhibition, and turns out it was not there.
Oh
So that
no.
was a big disappointment. And the catalog everywhere it said it was going to be there. So it was something I found out like at the end of the exhibition. Oh no, it's actually not there because I was really looking forward to it
Well, that is false advertising.
very much. And then along with that, she was wearing her mother-in-law's big diamond earrings, a diamond buckle brooch. I believe she had diamond clips on the edge of her collar, and she also was wearing this diamond necklace that she has in the past worn as a tiara as well.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
a lot of glitter.
a lot of glitter.
Yes, but they have an amazing collection, as we'll see later on, because the Duchess of Gloucester also attended the Guildhall banquet.
She
But
did.
in terms of other ladies, we had it was announced with the members of the royal family, quite interestingly, that Lady Susan Hussey and I believe Dame Anne Morrison, who were ladies in waiting to the late Queen, were going to be a part of the royal family who were going to be attending. So it was quite interesting that they were including in that announcement. And we can see Lady Susan Hussey on the top right. She is wearing her Waldegrave tiara, which belongs to her own family. And I was one of the things that I discovered a picture of one of her ancestors wearing it at the 1902 coronation. And we discussed that in last week's episode as well, but now she was wearing it in person.
Yes, wonderful. And it's lovely to see that more and more of these old family heirlooms are going to be coming out with the events leading up to the coronation. So
Oh,
definitely going to
definitely.
have to brush up on my aristocratic tiara.
Yeah. So another big surprise on the night of the banquet was seeing the newlywed Duchess of Norfolk wearing an heirloom sapphire and diamond necklace. So the Duke of Norfolk is Earl Marshal and the Premier Duke of England. He's responsible for organizing the State of England Parliament and the King's coronation. He got married earlier this month to Francesca Herbert, who is the former daughter-in-law of Lord Carnarvon, who was the Queen's longtime racing manager and close friend, and her former brother-in-law is the owner of Highclere Castle, which a lot of viewers may know as Downton Abbey.
Mm.
So lots of interesting connections there to the royal family and also to kind of popular culture. So this necklace dates to the Duke's grandmother, who was the 11th Baroness Beaumont in her own right. We don't really know where it comes from, but it's been worn by a bunch of family brides over the years, and it appears that they no longer have a family tiara because the one worn by the Baroness, for those who can see the pictures on, if you're watching us on YouTube, that tiara seems to have gone into the collection of Madame Imelda Marcos of the Philippines.
Oh.
So it's currently been seized by the Philippine government, and I mean, her son is the president or prime minister now, so she'll probably get them back sometime soon after
Yeah. Oh dear.
almost 40 years. But yeah, an interesting kind of day. When I posted my article on the tiara, I saw a lot of comments on the necklace. Saw a lot of comments saying that, oh, she should have worn as a tiara because, oh, where's the family tiara and all those things. But it seems that just is the only piece. But I do think it would look quite good as a tiara as well. It has a substantial quality to it.
It would, but I imagine just giving the hanging pendant on it, it would be you'd have to reframe it completely, and
Oh
that
yeah,
is an expensive job. Unfortunately, the cost of labor and the cost of materials has gone through the roof since the 1900s when tiaras were all the rage. But it's not to
I
say they
know.
can't be done. But yeah, it
Huh.
would be
Yeah.
given her new status, she does really needs a tiara for the
Yeah.
coronation. So
I mean, she
yeah,
was attending the state banquet. She's in a pretty prominent position, and for her not to have a tiara as the premier duchess in England,
yeah.
it,
What, she couldn't borrow one for the evening?
I know.
Very
Well,
interesting.
I'm afraid I did tag her on my Instagram post, and there were a lot of quite horrible comments about the poor duchess. So we wish her all the
Oh,
best back
yeah,
in married life. She does look lovely.
yeah. But yeah, she'd look, let's get her a tiara.
Better with a tiara.
Someone sort it out. Come on.
Someone sorted out. Yeah, because the both of us saw another Norfolk tiara early this year at the Sotheby's exhibition, which used to belong to the previous Duchess of Norfolk, but she left that to her daughters.
Oh, did she? That's interesting. Yeah.
Yes, because she didn't have any sons, and the title went to another branch of the family, the grandson of the son of Baroness Beaumont. So the original tiara left the family, and now they have just this necklace left.
So the tiara wasn't entailed with the title. That's
Yeah, it
interesting. That's
wasn't.
very
So
well.
funny enough, the Duke's first wife wore a kind of diamond, I would say like a sunburst tiara, not a
Yeah.
star tiara. And she wore that and was last worn by one of his nieces back in 2006. But since no family brides have worn it since, and the Duchess didn't wear a tiara at the banquet where she would have if she had one, it doesn't seem they have that any longer.
Oh, well, maybe something's gone on behind closed doors. But yeah, as we say, hopefully going forward, she could at least maybe get something on loan from one of the jewelers in Mayfair. I mean, they'd
Yeah,
more than love to have the Premier Duchess of the realm wearing one of their pieces, even if it was on
no doubt
loan.
about that. Oh yeah. So I think it'd be quite an interesting um, choice for her going forward, but I'm sure we'll see this necklace for years to come because it
Mm,
is such a lovely piece.
mm.
And then the next night, we saw the Duchess of Gloucester again in a tiara at the banquet hosted by the Lord Mayor in the City of London at the Guildhall.
Yes, lovely, lovely place, the City of London, and they do often do diplomatic receptions in the Guildhall. And for people who don't know, the Guildhall was actually the first parliamentary building in London before everybody moved to Westminster. So it's very historic and it's got real meaning behind it. And yeah, they often do
Really?
host banquets there.
Yeah.
I think the last time there was a big banquet there was when King Philippe and Queen Letizia visited, and I was actually
Yes,
walking.
back in 2017.
Oh God, was it that long ago? Because I was about to say, I
So,
remember walking past it with a friend and seeing all the Daimlers outside with the flags on top, going, "Oh, wonder
how
who's in
lovely.
there."
Yes, I think at that time it was Princess Anne who attended that. So the last time the
Mm.
Gloucesters attended Guildhall banquet was back in 2016 for the Colombian president, First Lady. So it's been
Ah,
quite a while.
okay, so maybe they're being sort of brought back into sort of
Yes, because
what's the
it's
word?
been kind of their domain to attend the Guildhall banquets back since like the 1980s. So
Ah,
we've had some exceptions over the years. I think we had Princess Alexandra in 1982 for the Dutch state visit, but then she was like a witness at Queen Beatrix's wedding. So of course she was the natural choice for that.
yeah,
And then we had the Prince and Princess Michael of Kent for President Putin's state visit,
of
which I
course.
mean, knowing all those connections, that makes a lot more sense as well.
Yeah, with this horrible pearl necklace she wore that time.
And I think she's attended a few other banquets as well at the
Yeah.
Guildhall, but it's generally been the Gloucesters. Except, and Princess Anne was the exception. She's done it a few times over the years since the 70s, but it's usually been the Gloucesters. And the Duchess of Gloucester was really looking perfect in the Gloucester honeysuckle tiara with a large cabochon emerald. She had cabochon emerald earrings, pearl and emerald necklace, which dates back to Queen Alexandra. It was one of her wedding gifts, which was an Indian necklace presented to Queen Victoria back in the day. She had on emerald and diamond clips, which come from a tiara of her mother-in-law, and a bigger emerald and diamond brooch as well, which also is a part of that tiara.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show, like I said, the Gloucesters have been a lot better at holding together their jewelry collection than, say, the Kents.
Yeah.
So, you just think like what's been lost over the years because they really
I
are magnificent pieces. Those emeralds
I mean,
are.
if you look at the size of those emeralds, and the Duchess has really worn them with a tiara, the pearl one, because she also has a set. So this is the cabochon emeralds, but she has a set of faceted emeralds, magnificent kind of Edwardian swag necklace, and lovely large emerald earrings. And she's usually worn that, so she has a lot of variety in just emeralds itself, not to mention all the other stones she has.
Yeah, and there's a very, very. I mean, you can see if you're watching on YouTube, not only the size of the emeralds, but they're very high quality as well. They've got a really nice, rich green color to them. So that's how you can tell that they are, important stones.
Oh yeah, definitely. They have really an amazing collection, and I'm not sure I should be saying this, but I was at Kensington Palace a few months ago, and one of the curators said that there might be some hope that the Gloucester collection would kind of go on display there
Oh, that
at
would be
some point in the
lovely.
future. So, no guarantees about that, but I mean, it's a good thought to have.
It is definitely. That would be. I'll make a note about that to keep an eye out.
Yes, and if they don't do it, then we can put some pressure on them. I mean, the public would demand it, and it would be really popular for all the right reasons.
It would, yeah, and hopefully, maybe as we keep saying, leading up to the coronation, we're going to see more and more of these jewels that we haven't seen in years that are going to be sort of
Yeah.
brought out of the vaults. And if they do want to put them onto public display, it would be fantastic. Maybe
Yeah,
the profits could go to charity.
because that's been a precedence for a long time. I was reading the Cartier book a few months ago, and in 1911, they had a big exhibition of all the peeresses as they loaned their tiaras to Cartier. They were all
Yes,
on
they
display
did.
there, and they raised a lot of money for charity. So that's a great idea.
There we
And
go. Someone take note.
take note, I mean, we had the Sotheby's exhibition last year, and I wouldn't mind seeing a repeat of that with a
Yeah,
few new
definitely.
tiaras. Because from what I've heard that from the curators is that people were initially reluctant, but when they saw the huge response, I mean, they did kind of extend the exhibition for a few more weeks as well. A lot of families were jealous. Oh, our tiara is not exhibited, so it's something that there's a lot of kind of demand for it.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, can't wait.
Yeah, I think it would be sure to be a lovely occasion. And then, so after the British state visit was over, the next day we got Queen Matilde of the Belgians wearing her laurel wreath tiara and her diamond kind of fringe earrings for a state banquet for the Swiss president at the Royal Castle of Laeken in Brussels.
Wow. I mean, if you just, again, if you're watching us on YouTube, if you just see the contrast between Queen Matilde and is that the Swiss president's wife?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. She didn't try, did she?
she did not try.
No, she didn't.
Right.
Compared to like if
Yeah.
you,
I've seen all the group pictures, I'm afraid, for the Swiss president's wife. She did not try for any of the occasions.
oh
This was
bless.
this was the best out of the rest of them. So,
Wow. I mean, it's quite something to be standing next to someone in such a beautiful tiara, amazing earrings. They're very substantial. Um,
and this like splendid Giorgio Armani gown with this lovely cape over her shoulders as well.
yeah, and I assume that is one of the Belgian royal orders.
Yes, that's the Royal Order of Leopold. And shout out to my assistant editor, Gabriel, who always points out that Queen Matilda's diamond star, like not the diamond star, just the star of the order, is just extremely tiny for no obvious reason. Like it is quite minuscule and it's like looks very out of proportion.
Oh, okay. So that's not just like a male female thing, it's like an aesthetic thing, maybe?
It's an aesthetic thing. Like I think for other
Oh,
people, the stars are for other females, the stars are usually like a proper size, but hers is just really tiny for some reason.
how interesting.
But funny enough, she's the first Belgian queen to ever wear this order
Oh,
because
okay.
neither her mother-in-law, Queen Paola, or Queen Fabiola, or Queen Elizabeth, or Queen Astrid, none of them were ever pictured wearing the order. So she's the first
Oh,
Belgian queen to wear this order.
okay. Well, it definitely suits her. She does
It
look quite
does.
majestic.
And the contrast of the purple with the soft pink and the diamonds, lovely
Mm,
look on her.
really nice look. So this was the Swiss Republic state visit
Yes.
to
So
Belgium.
this was also this week. And then at the end of last week, we had another tiara, this time in New York for all of our American listeners, that every year, Princess Margaret of the Netherlands, she attends it used to be called the Peter Stuyvesant Ball. I'm pretty sure I pronounced it wrong, but he was the first like Dutch governor of what is now New York. And
Ah,
last year they decided to rename that because of obvious reasons.
yep.
Uh, and it's now called the Netherlands-America Foundation Ball. So the NAF ball, which also has the Dutch press were not too happy about that change. I saw a lot of articles, I mean, angry, but I mean, if you look at it, Princess Margaret always wears a tiara to this event. So if you're American and you're wondering if there's an annual royal event with tiaras near you, you can always go to the Plaza Hotel sometime at the end of November and see a real princess in a real royal tiara.
Yes, it's a wonderful tiara. It's very quite similar to the one we just saw on Queen Matilde with the
Yes,
laurel wreaths, however you
yes.
pronounce it. But that must be so that would that be another turn of the century one?
So this one is actually really interesting. This laurel wreath tiara, there's two kind of perspectives on it. Some suspect that it may have belonged to Queen Anna Pavlovna, who was, I think, the second Dutch queen, who was a Russian Grand Duchess, and it originates like back from the early 1800s.
Hmm.
But it doesn't seem to have been worn in public until Queen Beatrice's 18th birthday in 1956. So she wore it for the first time then. So others really suspect that it was an antique piece bought by her parents at the time for her 18th birthday.
Yeah, just knowing what I know about Russian Grand Duchesses when they get married, they were given, they were basically given an entire jewelry shop as part of their dowries. And that tiara, lovely as it is very petite. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't imagine it was Russian in origin,
yes.
but I could be wrong.
Russian origin. But it does look a bit Napoleonic, which kind of fits in
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
kind of era of the time.
yeah,
So,
could
but
be
you never know. I'm leaning more towards it was an
a
old piece that
piece.
was
Yeah,
bought back in the 50s.
yeah,
I
I
don't think it
agree
was
with you.
a family heirloom.
Yeah,
But
but
no, Princess Margaret wore a pair of lovely, huge diamond earrings
oh, those are big
and
ones.
a new necklace, which seems to have been covered by her gown here, but she wore it early this month for the Italian state visit.
Ah, okay, I
So she
see.
wore the exact same jewels for a state banquet, and then this also gives us a bit of an opportunity to talk about the jewels they're before we end this episode.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't take my eyes off Queen Maxima's necklace. That is amazing.
Oh, yeah. So that is actually a 5-strand pearl necklace. It has a lovely kind of clasp of pearls and diamonds, and Princess Margaret has usually worn with a 3-strand pearl necklace in the past, but Maxima debuted this 5-strand version early this year for a visit from the Danish royals, and
Oh,
she's worn it. The first time she was wearing the full version of the Wittenberg pearl tiara, which has added additional pearls on top of what is already quite a large tiara.
I did think that. That's the
Uh,
is that the tiara that Queen Beatrix wore on her wedding day?
yes. And she
That's
wore
what
it
I
in this
thought.
version, but it's the first time Maxima has worn it with full pearls.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah.
And Princess Beatrix was also there wearing the Dutch aquamarines and one of the family's diamond stars.
Hmm. It's nice to see that
But I mean,
she's still involved.
oh yeah, and I find it quite lovely that even though she's abdicated, she still kind of makes time to attend these sorts of events, and she's always there to support her son and daughter-in-law and hasn't just retired from duties altogether.
Yeah, that's nice.
And that's something the Dutch do really well.
Yeah.
I mean, like Queen Juliana used to attend banquets all the way up to the 90s.
Yeah, but I
So
think it is a
it's
Dutch
she's gonna be
tradition,
there
isn't it,
for
to abdicate and then, just be around sort of to hang on and help out.
oh yeah, I think Beatrix abdicated and before her 75th birthday. And
Hmm.
she decided that no, I want to be around and I want to kind of see my son reign in my lifetime and have it be a happy occasion, the handover, rather than be kind of stressed about it.
Yeah, something that Queen Elizabeth II would never have done.
Oh no, definitely not. And speaking of Queen Maxima's tiaras, I believe this is the 7th tiara appearance she's had this year.
Huh?
So she's had quite a busy year. And we'll be discussing that in a couple of weeks when we round up all the tiaras of this year.
Yep, she's definitely out there with the tiaras, which is what we like to see.
Yes, and she loves to play with the family collection, and they do have a huge amount of jewels to play with.
I do, thank God.
Thank God. Yeah, no, we're very lucky with the Dutch. But no, it's been quite a fun week for us royal watchers. We've been seeing a lot of early jewels come out, and after kind of the misery of COVID the past couple of years, to see all these tiaras in a row has been quite a fun experience for us all.
It has indeed, and it's not stopping there. When's the next one? It's the diplomatic reception next, isn't it?
Reception. Yes. It's a
One.
diplomatic reception sometime in the first few days of December. And then on the 10th, and we'll have the Nobel Prizes in Sweden. And then the following, there's the King's dinner for the Nobel laureates, which are both white tie and tiara occasions. It's a really good way to end the year.
Oh, we are going to be very busy.
And then the year also starts really well because we have tiaras in Denmark and in Japan, hopefully, and also probably in Luxembourg.
Yeah, can't wait.
So lots of fun things to look forward to in the next few weeks.
Indeed.
So, Sam, what are your thoughts about kind of who was your favorite over the past couple of days? What was your like best tiara, and what are your thoughts about the future?
Um, let's say best tiara. I mean, I won't lie, I was disappointed, and I did put it on my Instagram that I wished Kate had worn a different tiara, but I can't lie, that tiara really does suit her, and it really, it went all together with the whole look. Just was a really, regal outfit and a regal pairing with the jewelry. So yeah, I would say she was my favorite.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree with you on that point that now that I look back on it, it was kind of impractical for us to kind of expect anything else because one, she wanted kind of more attention to be on Queen Camilla and have her have like this big moment of her debuting a new jewel. And I think they did that quite lovely where it was a jewel that was not too strongly associated with the late queen, but also was like a nice kind of rewear and a nice nod to the queen's kind of early married days and how she liked sapphires and wore that tiara.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and again with Queen Camilla, I again wanted a completely different tiara. I wanted to see the Oriental circlet or the Kokoshnik, but as you just said, it probably would have been too much too soon, and I think there would have been a commentary on it
Yeah.
if she had gone all guns blazing at the first hurdle.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get something nicer for this diplomatic reception. And then we have a bunch of other events like next year, like the coronation. And there's also, I don't know if you've seen, but the state opening of Parliament will be held 4 days after the coronation. So we'll get a lot more glitter for that.
Yeah, that will be interesting if they're going to continue wearing. Oh yeah, what crowns will she wear? Well, that's yeah, that's a controversy that we can talk
Yeah.
about in a different.
That's a controversy, though.
We can
Yeah.
talk about another
That's a whole
episode.
another episode that we
Oh
can
gosh,
discuss
yes,
about.
that might have to be a 3 hour job.
Yeah, definitely. No, it was just wonderful chatting to you today, and I hope our listeners also enjoyed listening to thoughts. Please let us know what you think and if you have any predictions for future tiaras in the future.
Yep, been lovely chatting to you, Saad. And yeah, hopefully everyone will like and
Yeah.
subscribe to get the notifications on YouTube. Follow us on our social medias, which will be available in the descriptions. And yeah, looking forward to speaking to everyone next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.